Hello, welcome to this short video. Now today this is about how I use the circle of fifths for my practice. I've depicted it here, hopefully it's clear how the circle of fifths is constructed, and you'll see that there are the 12 keys all the way round, and they start at the top at C, and as they come round clockwise they are in fifth intervals, and if we go anti-clockwise they're in fourths. Okay, so within my practice what I always do, I religiously do now, is I will at least once go round the circle of fifths in both directions with single notes, and sometimes with two fingers, sometimes with one, and I just go round both ways, make sure that I've got it, and I do it nice and slow so that I'm thinking about it rather than just patterns. So it's as simple as there, now that was going around in fifths. We can go the other way around. So as you'll see on the circle there, if we go anti-clockwise starting at F, at C we go to F, B flat to E flat, A flat to D flat, G flat to B, E to A, D to G, and C. Okay, so that's fine in single notes, but what we need to do is use chords. So if we've got a nice chord that we use, let's just take a basic C major, we can take that round the circle of fifths and the circle of fourths. So let's take that round the fourths, so we must keep the that particular arrangement with the root at the bottom, a full major 7, and we need to find every single one of them and finish back at C. So for example here we'll go C to F, B flat to E flat, A flat to D flat, G flat to B. That's these bottom ones are more difficult because we don't tend to go round the bottom there. So that's B to E to A, D, G, C. So that's just in a basic major chord. And of course we can make it minor, etc. We could even do the diminished. Okay, so if you play C diminished, then you could play G diminished, D diminished, go all the way around. You could have a particular arrangement of that chord. I mean, for example, C major 7, you may actually play C major 7 in a split up sort of way. So for example, you've got the first, the fifth, the third and the 7, an open voicing, but now you've got to take that round like that, okay, and go all the way around, you know. So any chord in any configuration you can take round the circle of fifths, but I would say go all the way around. Now there's a couple of chords on the back end of the circle of fifths, as you'll see here right on the bottom, where you've got your D flat and your G flat, or C sharp and F sharp, whatever you want to call them. Now let's just look at the bottom chords, because you could say, well, we don't particularly need those, but I think we definitely do. Let's just look at the D flat. Okay. Now in the key of C there's this 2-5-1 progression. Now what I mean by that is we've got D minor 7 and D is the 2 of C, so 2, 5, which is G7, 1, and that's that sort of typical ending of the tune and sound. Now with a 2-5-1, what you can do with the 5 chord, which is the G7, is you can replace that with its tritone substitute dominant 7. Now tritone is 3 tones away, and it's actually the opposite side of the circle. So if you were to look at the circle and look at G, what you'll find is if you look directly across the circle, you'll see that it's C sharp or D flat. You should be able to see that if you look straight across. So it's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 full tones. And if you go the other way, of course, 1, 2, 3. It's symmetrical, and that's why it's on the opposite side. So, if you've got G7, you can substitute that for the C sharp 7. Okay, so instead of D minor 7 to G7 to C, you can do D minor 7 to D flat 7. And that's using the tritone substitute chord for the G7. And of course that chord, therefore, is one of the chords on the back end of the circle of fifths. Okay, if we were playing in F, a 2-5-1 in F is G minor 7 to C7 to F. G being 2, 5, 1. 2, 5, 1. G minor 7 to C7 to F. So the dominant 7 again there, C7, we can change that for the tritone away. And again, if you look at the circle and look at the C at the top, directly opposite you'll find is F sharp, which is 3 tones away, a tritone. So again, instead of playing C7, we're going to play F sharp 7. Okay? So if we go G minor 7 to C7 to F, now we'll change that to G minor 7 there. Okay, and you tend to use that a little bit more probably by, instead of going back up to and back up there, you would leave that as a major 7. So what we're doing is we're changing the bass, and again coming back to C with the D minor 7, G 7, C, the bass is D, G, C. But when we change to the tritone substitute, instead of up, down, it's, that's the bass line, which is why it drops. Okay, so the reason I mention those two tritone substitutions, one in the key of C, one in the key of F, is because they are keys that we play in, and they're a simple, very nice little rule that you can get into, but we're using the two chords that are on the opposite side of the circle of fifths. Okay, so that we really do need to go all the way round. Okay, that's how I feel. So there you go. If you've got the circle of fifths, go all the way around it with single notes both ways, and go all the way around with whatever chord you find or you're playing, whether it's major 7, minor 7, diminished, whether it's got a 9, a 13 or 11 on it, doesn't matter. If you find a really nice chord, you can look at it and then take it all the way round the circle of fifths, because you're not only practicing the chord and the muscle memory and the feel of those chords as they change through the keys, but you're memorizing and instinctively getting the fifth intervals and fourth intervals in underneath your belt. So that's what I do, that's what I would suggest you do, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll make another one very soon. Bye bye.